Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Kuroko no Basket 2, Episode 14. And most of this episode is just them playing the game, so I'm not going to give you all this play-by-play commentary or anything like that. I'm just going to talk about a few things that stood out to me. Um, One, in the beginning, Kuroko was prepared to use the Ignite past Kai, and I just found it funny that that the ball was literally floating in midair, just waiting for him, just telling him, you got all the time in the world. I'll just sit here, like 3 feet off the ground, just waiting for you to hit me with your freaking palm thrust. All right, I found that pretty hilarious. They didn't even try to hide it. They didn't even try to hide it. They just literally showed the ball floating there. I thought that was hilarious. But when Kuroko finally does use the pass, Almine actually can't stop it the first time. And it gets to Tepe, and he gets it to Kagami, and Kagami ends up scoring the points. And one thing they try to do is actually explain how the Ignite pass works, which is pretty stupid. Like why? Like, it's Kuroko no Basket is a sports manga that was adapted into a sports anime. When you have sports manga and sports anime, the majority of the time they're supernatural things that make no freaking sense. So when you try to explain it, it just doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work, and it just they should have just left it alone, just left it how it was, unexplained. Okay, it just doesn't work. Oh, Kuroko hits the ball so hard, it's like a bullet. No, no, please, just stop trying to explain it. All right, how he can even get that spin on that ball when you like, no, they should have just left it alone. All right, but yeah, that's the Ignite past Kai. And another thing worth mentioning is Kagami trying to go one-on-one with Almine, but he uses like some type of clairvoyance type of ability to see into the future and figure out what would have happened if he did go one-on-one with Almine, so he passes the ball away. And apparently the scene needs to be explained too. They should have just. So one thing that annoys me about Kuroko no Basket is that pretty much in every single game that they do, half of the entire time, instead of being spent on the actual game, it's spent on commentary from people in the stands and the freshmen that don't play. And I don't need that. Just show me the game. Show me what's happening. All right? Seriously. Like, even in the manga right now, I won't spoil anything, but right now there's one of the games that's going on right now involves Rakuzan, and literally half the game, maybe even more than half the game, is literally commentary from people in the stands, and half of these characters, I don't even know who they are. I seriously don't even know who they are. There's like a couple guys from Yosen that I can remember, a couple guys from Shutoku, Kaiju, like they're literally going to every single school and having every single person do commentary. It's annoying, all right? And half the time they're not even characters that we know, like Takao. Like sometimes they're just like random Toho character number 5. Like I don't know who half these people are, and they're still doing commentary. Just instead of focusing on commentary, focus on the actual game itself. I just wish Fujimaki would do that sometimes, but unfortunately he's not. And this game is another example where there's just too much commentary. All right. Other than that, Hyuga, he used the barrier jumper for the first time, which they didn't try to explain, which is a good thing. I didn't want them to try to explain that. Sakurai doesn't just take it, though. He fights back. So they kind of went to get into a battle of shooters. The first quarter ends, and the game is tied, which is impressive for Saren to be tied with Toho. But they end up figuring out how the vanishing drive works, so we get an explanation of that, too, which I guess that's so supernatural that you kind of can't get away with not explaining it. So that's kind of I could actually understand that one. And instead of going into all the details like sight and going diagonal, forget that. Okay, the point is that Kagami has to be in his opponent's vision. The point is that Kagami is using misdirection on himself pretty well. He's using not really. Kagami has such a huge presence that his presence is bigger than the balls, pretty much. Alright, so people's attention gets drawn away from the ball whenever Kagami is in their vision, along with Kuroko. Alright, Momoi figured this out. Takao figured it out too. So that was impressive. Momoy, I'm not surprised, figured it out because she's Momoy. I mean, it's not surprising, but yeah. Um, they figure it out, and Kuroko tries the vanishing drive on Almine, but he stops it with his freaking eyes closed, which was epic. Right, that was epic. Right, and after that, he said some stuff to anger Kuroko, stuff like a shadow can't defeat a light, stuff like that. And Kuroko gets annoyed, so he tries to force an ignite pass Kai past Almine, even though no one is prepared to catch the pass, which makes no sense. But he's just annoyed, so he just does it for some reason. And this freaking pass, man. Every single time he uses this pass, the wind starts going crazy and stuff. There are all these visual effects and everything. Seriously, this looked like freaking Misaka Mikoto using the railgun. Or like freaking the wind was like accelerator creating the plasma. You can see it in my intro. One of the clips I have of accelerator. One, it's like he's flying across the ground, but at the same time there's a clip of him creating plasma in the air. Like the wind effects are like that. Like it looked like I said in the title, it's like a freaking KAME-HAME-HA. Freaking Kamehameha wave, man. Like this pass is freaking crazy. And Almine just stops it like that. He stops it so easily. And that kind of just crushes Kuroko, and pretty much he needs to be taken out of the game pretty much. And Saren takes a timeout, and that's pretty much how the episode ends. Alright. So there were a couple things I complained about, but overall I still think it was a pretty good episode, mostly because of the ending. So I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. But yeah, that's it, you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.